Good afternoon, y'all. This is Demetrius again with a great guest by the name of Jon Mead. Jon Mead is a well-seasoned, experienced practitioner in the channel, also the founder of of a really great startup that I'm gonna let you tell you about. So yeah, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jon Mead. Jon, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Jon Mead. I am the founder of PartnerBridge. Yeah, to Demetrius' point, I've been in the partner world for probably the better part of 15 years now. I started in this space as a support rep, grew my way up through the ranks there, went into sales. I did account management, I did sales engineering, and various parts of development, all the way into the partner world, right? In the partner space, the best practitioners kind of have this well-rounded experience level, right? They understand partnerships from marketing, from development, from product, from sales. And that's my background, and that's how I kind of came to be in the partner world. Yeah, and then just launched PartnerBridge very, very recently. So really happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
So Jon, tell us a little bit about PartnerBridge. What inspired you to launch PartnerBridge, and what was that process like?
Yeah, really good question. So the reason I started PartnerBridge, I was at an A/B testing and experimentation company. I was running the global partner program. I was running the sales engineering team. That afforded me a lot of network, a lot of like contacts in the space, right? So I was able to chat with a lot of people who were at various stages of their partner program. I started to have folks reach out to me kind of off the cuff, drop me a LinkedIn message. Hey, John, I just want to pick your brain about something, not necessarily about your partner program at that company I was at, but really just want to pick your brain. So I started having these conversations with folks, leaders in the space who were asking, I like C-suite leaders in the space, right? They were senior executives in C-suites. They understand the value of partnerships and they really want to get a program going, but they just didn't know where to go, how to start these programs. Short of hiring an expert and like bringing a really great leader into their organization. That's a great way to do it. And that's usually what people do, right? They bring somebody who has all of that experience and they let them build a program. It takes like 18 months until that's flywheel building and scaling. But that's a pretty big investment, and not everybody can do that. So I started to have these conversations, and a lot of folks, I just kind of gave them my 2 cents, introduced them to a lot of people, and I realized there was nowhere I could point them to say, here's a great place that you can go to build a strategy, leverage these tools to understand your ecosystem, right? There was nothing out there that did that. So that's when I started to like I had that light bulb moment. Oh, this doesn't exist. Maybe there's something there. So started talking to a lot of my colleagues in the space, just asking, hey, I've got this idea, this maybe an idea where we can build a partner discovery framework strategizing platform. And I had some great feedback initially. So the original idea was like partner program in a box. Here's who you should work with, and here's your frameworks. And that has transpired into PartnerBridge. So PartnerBridge is partner discovery, partner insights, automated go-to-market, automated
Mm.
integrations. It's everything you need to learn about the space, build the right program, and then scale that program for your clients.
No, absolutely. Now, I always, the last time I spoke with you, I mentioned that your startup story is quite fascinating.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to share with the audience a little bit about your startup story, and also, how it compares to a traditional startup story.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a weird one for sure. So just as like a caveat, this is not my first startup. I've tried to start a few companies before. I failed a lot. But this one is different. So I got a lot of like positive feedback. And about this time or a little bit before last year, we were looking at where we can launch, we being the royal we, right? Where should I launch Partner Bridge? And we were looking at Chicago to go to, and we were in the Boston area at the time. Chicago was like middle of the country, easy access to both coasts, great culture, great place. But then money started to get a little bit more expensive, and as a startup, every cent counts, right? So we really needed to make sure that we kept that runway as long as possible, right? So we started to look abroad. We looked at Canada, looked at Ireland, looked at the UK, Germany, the Netherlands, and worked with these organizations at the government level, shortlisted both Ireland and the UK. And PartnerBridge is based out of Edinburgh, Scotland. So we are right in the heart of Edinburgh. We're on Princes Street. I walk by a castle every morning on the way to the office, right? Like it's outrageous.
Yeah.
That process, though, was wild. So we selected the UK. I started the process. What you have to do is get endorsed by an endorsing body before you can even apply for the visa. That process, we started that process in January of last year, maybe in December of last year. We got endorsement in the middle of April. So it was wildly labor intensive, right? They went through, so the beginning process, they vetted the business idea. They talked to their own networks, made sure that there was real viability there. Then they went through the full business plan, right? That was a 100-page business plan that I had put together. They tore it apart, pointed at things that like, well, this isn't really realistic, is it? And so like they tore that whole thing apart and then they went through my platform line by line in the code, right? They needed to make sure that I wrote the code and I didn't like outsource it to somebody and pass it off as my own. They really needed to vet that who I said I was, and I was bringing this creation that I made to their economy to build and scale this company and hire local folks here. So yeah, it took 4 or 5 months just to get that endorsement. And then when we applied for the visa, it was pretty quick. So we're here on an Innovator Founders visa, launched PartnerBridge, and we've been off to the races ever since.
Mhm. So with PartnerBridge, if a user is for a net new user of PartnerBridge, what would be some of the immediate benefits that they would see when using PartnerBridge?
Yeah, so I've built it in, it's a freemium platform, right? You can set up an account, you can go there today, just log in. We have a database of 16,000 MarTech, ProdTech, go-to-market technology companies. If your company isn't in there, it's fine. Our engine analyzes it. Set up a free account. First thing you notice is that it builds it's I positioned the platform as an educational model. So you log in and it teaches you how to build a partner program for free, right? This is that strategy thing that I was trying to find 2 years ago. So you log in and it educates you on if you want to build a technology partner program, you should start with the categories that your company is in and what are the like the really high level, strong related categories that you could work with. And why should you work with those categories? What companies are in those categories? And it lets you dig into all of that information, build out joint value props, build out integration highlights. What would it look like to actually go to market together? What go-to-market motions should we use? And then on the flip side, what services, what solutions partners should you work with based on their service areas, the value drivers that they have for their clients, the KPIs that they're delivering, the ICP that they work with, and how does that overlap with yours? And what other technologies are they working with, and how close are those technologies to you in the tech stack, right? So it
Mhm.
starts to educate you on how to think about a partner program, again,
Mhm.
for free. From there, of course, there's upgraded versions where you can build the collateral, you can run analytics, you can have automated outreach to the right people at those companies. And when you're ready, you can automate your actual integrations to any other platform.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, I know you had mentioned that a while ago you had come across xAmplify, and what was
Yeah.
that experience like? And what how have things changed since then?
Yeah, so it was great. I a couple of years ago, I think this was going back to 2021, the dark times, right? During COVID. I was evaluating different PRMs. I was at a digital experience company at the time, running the partner operations and the tech partner program there. So we started to reevaluate. We had a very kind of heavy, monolithic PRM at the time. And we were looking for something a little bit lighter, a little bit more nimble that integrated with the CRMs that we were using and worked really well. Exemplify came up. We took a look. It was a great platform back then. It just didn't quite do enough for what we needed it. Um, but I saw the platform again just the other day, and I was wildly impressed with how much has grown, has changed. Um, it So it really hits kind of all of the needs. I wish that I had seen it back then as it is now. It would have been a no-brainer. Being able to run campaigns for your partners, being able to pull people in, build the landing pages, that is incredible that all of that is in one platform. And it is your typical partner portal where people can go in and track their leads, track their referrals, open up and see any kind of a support ticket or things like that they have for their clients. It's grown so much, and I've just been wildly impressed by that.
Yeah, and that's one reason why I think for us, we saw the platform as being so much more than just a conventional PRM, with the different cores and how they interact with one another. And that's why we did release like an open source PRM, right? So
Yeah.
like, to your point, we don't want to create a barrier to entry to the market, at all, right? So how do you see your particular platform working with a PRM?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So PartnerBridge does a lot of that pre-work, right? It identifies the right go-to-market motion that you should execute with a potential partner. It identifies the right, well, joint value propositions, but that's pretty easy to do these days with AI. But it also identifies all the real world use cases. It identifies the right type of ICP, and it builds out all of this logic inside of the platform, but that can all be pushed right into your PRM. So when you've decided to move forward with a partner, right, and you set up a relationship, you've gotten the contract signed, everybody's, really happy and really gung ho. The next step is to actually make that happen. To do that, you need the right go-to-market plan. PartnerBridge can push all of that go-to-market framework, all of that right into your PRM. So you open up that partner contact, there's your go-to-market plan. There's your use cases, there's your ICP and the qualifying questions. They're all just right there. So all of that gets pushed right into the PRM. It allows you to scale that relationship without waiting for people to have a cadence call, get on the phone, talk through exactly how this needs to work. It does all of that for you so you can actually bring value to your clients.
Excellent. Hey, John, when I hear you speak, I mean you're definitely an engineer, but you also have like the sales and marketing acumen. Like you understand, how those operations work. How did you come to be, so well-rounded and understanding how, all these moving pieces work together? Because it's very rare they come across a professional that see how all the moving pieces work together.
I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm that good. But I think I was really lucky early in my career. So my undergraduate is English education, right? So I was a teacher at one point. Then I was a telemarketer because I
Mhm.
chose to get out of teaching, and I went into telemarketing and was trying to sell payroll over the phone, right? And then I went into desktop support. So I was like flipping out those big CRT monitors for a department of 300, 400 people. And then I moved into technical support. Like I have been really lucky to be able to get into these roles. I am very engineering focused. And a lot of my early career was very technical. So like setting up Linux boxes, doing different Ubuntu deployments, right? Very technical. And then I intentionally rounded out my skill set. I enjoy solutioning. I enjoy talking to people and figuring out what clients' problems are. So I ended up getting an MBA from Babson College in Boston. And that unlocked a lot that I had not seen. Yeah, you hear a lot of the go-to-market phrases, right? There's all of those like buzzwords and things like that. But being able to get into that program at Babson, I had a lot of great leaders who kind of took a chance on me and were like, "Yeah, you might be able to do some sales engineering work. Come on in, let's see how this works." So I was really lucky, honestly, to be able to round it out. That said, I think you're right, it is a rare skill set. And I think there are certain personality types and parts of companies that have that skill set. Like if you talk to like technical product owners, those folks understand the technical side of it, but they also get user stories from customers, so they understand, they empathize with customer usage. Sales engineers are another one, right? They understand the technology. They have to translate technology to business
Mhm.
use. That is
Hmm.
wildly difficult, right? To make something be relatable for in plain language that usually isn't.
Hmm.
So yeah.
No, I agree with you. You know, one of the things that we've done internally is we've integrated agentic AI into our platform to address
Yep.
this issue, right, of communication. Because what we have at the partner level with with some MSPs, they're engineers, they have technical brains. Doesn't mean that they can't sell or market. However, when it comes to
Mhm.
writing and being an effective writer, that's a completely different skill, right, than
Yeah.
engineering, right? You got to take something very technical and explain it to what I say a third grader, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yep. Yeah.
So that's how we think. Like for us, here at Exemplify, we really lean in on AI, not to necessarily, uh, you know, um, not necessarily like have an adverse effect on the marketplace, but to give the marketplace a tool, right, that allows for people to go and
Yeah.
market more efficiently and with greater accuracy, especially when it comes to communication.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing it right. There's a lot of re ways that you can use AI and technology these days, but I think that that's a really, really novel approach to making sure that you already have all of the data, you already have the infrastructure behind what you're doing, leveraging that AI to translate that and help people
Mhm,
be more impactful with your PRM. That's
mhm.
huge, man. That's such a great way to do that.
So looking into 2026, again back to PartnerBridge, what are some initiatives and what are you looking to accomplish and what's your roadmap for 2026?
Yeah, so we just released our PartnerBridge playbooks. So we have been working with a lot of leaders in go-to-market, coming out with go-to-market frameworks. Some of those, there's a lot of programs out there who educate their network on how to build proper go-to-market plans. We have baked in almost 30 frameworks into our PartnerBridge playbooks that when you're looking at going to market with a partner, right? A lot of times you're like, great, we can get a referral agreement and we can co-sell, or you refer me leads and I'll refer you leads. That's not going to market together. Going to market together really takes a lot of thought and design. So our partner pitch playbooks, those are, well, they're technically in beta as of yesterday, but those are coming out within the next 2 weeks here. Beyond that, we're looking at building out a scoring mechanism to identify the right partners we have three different products for our Relate IQ, which is that freemium model, to be able to score and evaluate partners from a true model that identifies the right levers on whether or not you should work together. Um, we're also we've opened up our seed round, so we are going through seed funding. So that's a 2.5 full-time jobs right there. So that's our kind of short-term roadmap that we're building into 2026.
You mentioned something it's in about scoring and scoring like the partner
Hmm.
relationship or the partner. What are some of the factors that you take into consideration when scoring, and why do you think those are significant?
Really good question. So there's a lot that goes into actually building out a proper score. We have different maturity levels for our scoring. For our Relate IQ, that's the freemium platform. It's a trimmed down version of our scoring model. So that has four different levers that go into our scoring. So the first is and this is a weighted algorithm, and I'm happy to share all the details. I don't like black boxes. Um, Category relationship value. So how well are the categories at your company and your potential partners companies, how well are those categories aligned, right? Are you an ABM platform and they are an influencer platform, right? Like they may not be strongly related. But then you may have something like a CDP and a personalization technology. Those are very strongly related. So if you look at the relationships of those categories, that's important. The next one is product alignment, right? So the products that your company offers, how aligned are the products within that potential partner company? And that's like in a real world tech stack, how close are they? How often are users using the same products, right? Then third one is going to be your ICP overlap. This is a little bit interesting though. So this looks at the ICPs from like a firm of graphics, a technographics, industries, different use cases, the different types of personas, right? All of the public data that's available, we're going to analyze and identify different ICPs, but that overlap isn't like for overlap ICP. We look at the percentage of overlap, right? So if you have three distinct ICPs, and then this potential partner has like 10 because their platform is bigger, but those three ICPs are there, that's good overlap for you, right? Um, and then the fourth thing that we do, and this is where it gets really interesting, is pricing alignment. So one of the big things with product pricing is, or partnerships rather, sorry, is product pricing. If your product costs $5,000 a year, but your potential partners is $250,000 a year, that's a really tough partnership, right?
Mhm.
Um, so pricing alignment. And that's a relative alignment. So we're breaking up all of the offerings into a normally distributed pricing bracket, highlighting all of those adjacencies, all of those ICPs, and then aligning on that pricing discrepancy there. And so that's where we're starting to build out our partner score for Relate IQ. When we talk about precision insights, which is the next step up, this is where we start to look at different relationships that they already have. We start to look at maturity levels. So you always want to partner with somebody who's at or just above your maturity as a company so that you can move
Mhm.
upstream. So there's a lot that goes into partner scoring beyond just what's my IPP, right? It goes well beyond that for partner scoring.
That sounds I mean, I love the idea of it. When you working in the PRM world, you see some of like the most robust partner programs. And
Mm.
usually we look at the analytics and the metrics. We look at the learning blocks, who's learning what, who's actually engaged in the platform,
Yep.
who's
Yep.
who- who's activated, right? But a lot of that, a lot of that can be, I guess, that a lot of that can be mitigated if you know up front, just based,
Yeah.
if there's alignment, right? Are you guys, talking the same language and moving the same way, right?
Yeah, yep, yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I talked to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they were looking at PartnerBridge. They're like, "Oh, so like I don't have to throw spaghetti at the wall anymore. I can actually have like highly focused conversations that are worth my time and their time, and I can do it in a way that's meaningful and get rid of all of the wasted calls that don't add up to anything and the false starts with potential partners." Yeah, yep,
And the reason why that's important, I think I've heard it before, is if you have a pretty large scale partner program and you're spending time, you may have a partner who's going to market for you, right?
yeah,
But if that partner is
yep,
going to market for you and they don't have the competency, right?
right,
Your
right,
sales organization can spend a lot of time managing that partner, right?
yeah,
And
yep,
yeah, they're probably, bringing in a deal, but the time and the dedication from your
yeah.
internal team that it takes to manage that partner, right? You
Yeah.
have to ask yourself
Yep.
the question, is the juice worth the squeeze,
Right.
right?
And that's why, so when I was looking at xAmplify the other day, the onboarding, the cadences that you guys have for onboarding are so well baked into but you're going to be able to know exactly which partners to work with in your own partner network based on
Mhm.
the client needs because of how long or how far along they are in their onboarding and how well they've done with that. That's why a
Mhm.
PRM like xAmplify is awesome to work with, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want people working smarter, not necessarily harder, right? And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know, but I think in this world, data is king, right? And the more data you have at your
Really.
disposal, right, the better you can
Yep.
make data-driven decisions and just be more efficient and accurate, right?
Yeah.
Streamline your
Yep.
processes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's key too. You mentioned how you're using AI. We PartnerBridge uses AI a lot as well. And I always challenge people that are looking at our platform, like go to Gemini, go to ChatGPT, ask it the same questions, see what it comes
Hmm.
back with. I challenge you to see if it's better. We have hundreds of tables of data in our back end that we are running all of our analytics on, and then we're feeding that into the AI model that we have on top of that. Data is king. Data is still king.
Absolutely. Well, John, we're coming out like the top of the hour here. I just want to,
Yeah,
let the audience know, how they can reach out to you,
of
where to go
course.
to find you, and and how they can get on your platform.
Awesome. Yeah, Jon Mead, find me on LinkedIn. PartnerBridge.io is our website. You can go ahead and go to the sign up button. It's just right on the top right there when you open it up. It's a very pink website. But yeah, feel free to set up a free account, knock on it, run the analytics, see what it's all about. Thank
Hey,
you. Thank
John,
you.
pleasure having you. So insightful. I'm looking forward to watching Partner Bridge grow and your success. Hey, thank you for joining us today, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. And
All
I'm
right,
excited for the same, Demetrius. We'll talk to you soon.
all right, brother. Take it easy.
Take care. Bye.